Thank you so much for tuning in to Alabaster Box with Tiffany Hayes, where we are inspiring and enriching thoughts. So today, guys, she is back, Miss Associates in Business from Tidewater Community College, BA from Strayer University, and in the process of obtaining her MBA from Jack Welch Management Institute, Ivy Cuffee. Hi,
Hey.
Hey. All right, so she came back, y'all. She graced us with her, I was going to say presence, her voice. Well, yes, her presence too, to share with us about emotional heart health. And I just thought that this was so, number one, befitting as women, but also befitting as believers, as Christians, as we're on the I want to say on the grind, doing what the Lord has placed on our hearts to do. But we also have to remember that we are a triune being, and we have to take care of our emotions, our hearts, and make sure that we're intact and we are exhibiting some emotional intelligence as we move along.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to ask for a couple of questions, and you guys get to chime in on our conversation. All right, so let me ask you this, Ivy. So in your words, how do you define heart emotional health, emotional well-being?
Emotional well-being to me is cutting off anything that could potentially let in any toxins within you, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, anything that can be toxic, that you don't allow it to enter into you.
Yeah.
Some three ways that ultimately is the enemy, but three ways that the enemy can try to get in your well-being, in your mental health is one way is through what you see. Another way is with what you hear. And another way is what you speak. The enemy really doesn't have authority. The enemy doesn't have authority, but we do as believers. So what he'll try to do is get you to speak things out of your mouth, because what you speak has power.
Absolutely.
Okay? And then what you see, he will try to beguile you. He'll try to put little things in front of you to try to manipulate, to try to get you off focus, to try to confuse you. Okay? And then what you hear, faith comes by hearing the word of God. And so if he can get your hearing off where you can't hear the word of God, you can't hear God's voice, that you're entertaining things that is not of God or listening to things that's not of God, he'll try to get you off balance, and he'll try to get into your emotional health. So that's what I feel, what emotional health, not allowing toxins to come in and pretty much wreck you to pieces. That's what I believe. That's in my own words, what emotional health is.
So what are some examples? What are some, let's say maybe 2 or 3 practical examples of how that can attack you in reference to what we're seeing, what we're speaking, what we're hearing? I'm just reminded of the gates that we have.
Right. Yeah. Right. So what we see. Well, first it starts really with practically the Bible talks about Philippians 4 and 8, where it tells with think on these things.
Absolutely.
Think on whatsoever is true, whatsoever honest, whatsoever is lovely, of good report. You can use these in every area, dealing with the gates, dealing with your seeing, your hearing, and what you speak.
Absolutely.
These are, so if you see something, you're dealing with something that you see. Sometimes you may see something and you're like, am I really seeing this? Am I really, is this truthful, or am I seeing something different? Absolutely. If you get what I'm saying. So you could see someone, and it really also having your mindset with a positive attitude or with positivity. Okay. So that's another thing. First, you got to check your mind when you're looking at stuff and when you see things. But you may see a person carrying on a conversation, and if your mind is not where it should be, you can see this and start thinking something that's not true.
Absolutely.
If you get what I'm saying, yeah. Or if you hear something, you may interpret something wrongly than what it was supposed to be meant to be interpreted as.
Right.
And it all starts with home. It all starts with you really being able to allow God to just purify you. You know, purify your motives, purify what you see, purify what you hear, so that when you come across something that don't look right, don't seem right, you can hear it, you can see it, you can speak it through God's word, or how he would interpret it. And so and so, make a long story short, to kind of give you a practical sense, you may be dealing with your spouse, and your spouse may say, I've had a long day at work and I'm really tired. You can interpret that as, you know, they don't have time for me, they don't love me, and blah blah blah. That's the enemy talking. You know, it could be your spouse is actually tired and they need to go to bed. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? Or if we're dealing with the tongue. Sometimes you want to say something negative, like you could really be in a situation, and we're human, so sometimes we might want to say something crazy out our mouth, and because we have to know who we are and what authority we hold, so we have to really be cautious of what we say out of our mouth. Sometimes we can speak something that can kill us or that can hinder us, and we don't even realize it. You know, you could say that person don't like me, or I don't think this should happen, or this is never going to happen over here, or this could never happen, or we're going to do this because they're not going to do that. A lot of times we can speak life to something, and you know, and a lot of times it could come like a cliche. Oh yeah, you speak life and speak that. It's real. You know, it's really real that we can speak life or death in any situation, because we have a power and authority that God has given us as a believer. The enemy can't do anything, but if he could get us to do it, then he can manipulate us to do certain things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so those are some of the things that and I hope I was practical with that. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. What I picked up from that, a couple of things. One was the power and the authority. And so in the revelation, and what I understand it to be, is simply, if there is a gate, which the Bible talks about the foothold. So if there is a gate, a foothold, a space, or anything of that nature, the enemy can definitely come in and start influencing us to start speaking and creating things out of our mouth. And so that is why it's so important, and why it's so beneficial and timely to have you on the show, because if we don't handle our emotions and our emotional well-being, then we will start speaking from a wound that needs to be healed and mended, and allows the enemy to have a foothold in our life, i.e. giving him authority, even though we have authority over him. But sometimes we misplace that and give it to the enemy where he shouldn't have it, because we're not dealing with what we need to deal with. So yes, I definitely understand and agree with what you just said too. Now let me ask you this. For another question that I have is, what are some things that you practice to maintain your balance?
So some of the things I practice, one of the things is being honest. I really try to be honest with myself on where I'm at, how I'm feeling at the moment. You know, what's going on around me. I try to be practical. I really try to be practical, because I'm not Superwoman. I can't do everything. Now I can do all things to Christ that strengthens me, but he has to strengthen me in it, meaning that he has to say, this is what I want you to do, you know, and if it's something that he wants you to do, he's going to make sure he gives you what you need, you know. But I try to be practical. I cannot be everything to everybody, you know. And balance, you know, one of the things I try to do is make sure, first of all, I put God first in everything. Try to make sure I put God first. God, what is it that you want me to do? But I also believe that God wants, like you said, want us to have a balance. So I try to be practical. I try to be honest. Another thing that I try to do is make sure that I'm putting myself and family first.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, myself and family first. A lot of times, women in ministry, as believers, we are, we fire baptized. We, we gonna do it all. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. But even God rested on the seventh day. So I believe God is trying to tell us, it's okay to rest, because when we do any work for Him, He wants us to be in a place of a cheerful giver and not just you worn out. So so yeah. So some of the things: being honest, putting family first, putting myself first. Sometimes I have moments where I know with me, my place of refuge or tranquility may be in prayer. That's a lot of times I find myself in just a place of relaxation where I can be honest and I can be raw before God. And God is so awesome that he doesn't mind me coming to Him with my issues, with my brokenness, whatever the cares of this world. I have found that he's a place where I can find my peace. He's a place that I can pour out my emotions, and He's able to stabilize me. Right. That's become a place for me on my prayer time, my intimate time with Him. In my intimate time with Him, in my time to being able to soak with Him, I'm able to come out refreshed. I'm able to come out rejuvenated. I'm able to come back ignited in Him to be able to go forward. I take the time out to have vacations. I balance ministry and day-to-day life by taking vacations. I make it a priority that I take at least 2 vacations a year. Why? Because I'm a mother, I'm in ministry, I'm in school, I'm pulled every kind of way. I try to support here, support there. It's a lot going on. But I believe that God wants us to have time where we can just get away. And another thing that I do when I vacation, I try to go somewhere where don't nobody know me, and I don't know them, and they don't know me. You don't know me as Lady Ivy. I'm just Ivy. I try to go where they don't know who I am. You don't know nothing about me. All you know, I'm a black lady with blonde hair.
Oh my
That's
God.
all you know. But no, sometimes it's good that you can get away and people don't know who you are, and you can have that freedom, that calming place. Even with Jesus Christ Himself, He has the 12 disciples, and that's another thing too with balancing. You want positive people, and you want people who are not toxic in your life.
Absolutely.
That plays a big part in your well-being. You don't want people. You want someone that's gonna push you. You need a fighter, and you need somebody that knows how to get help, and you need somebody that knows how to push you and encourage you. You need positive and non-toxic people in your life. You choose your friends wisely. Really. You want to choose your friends wisely. So anyway, like I was saying, even with Jesus only had 3 people that He was really able to show Himself to. Okay, only 3 people. He had 12 disciples around Him, but only 3 people He actually showed Himself to. You have to get around people that you can let your hair down around.
Absolutely.
If you get what I'm saying. That's a balance. Where you can don't nobody show them true selves to everybody. Okay, that it doesn't happen. But God will allow you to have certain people around you that you can show your true self to and let your hair down around. Not that they allow you to be ungodly or you sinning and all. No. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about you can sit around them and it's okay for you to have your t-shirt on with some cut up jeans and your feet hanging out with your toes ain't done. Or they see you not all put together. Or they can see you at your hot mess self or whatever. So those are some of the things that I believe that sets a balance. You can't be, I can't be Lady Avid 24/7 because that's not all of who I am. I have so many different parts of who I am. That's a part of me, but it's not all of me. You know what I'm saying? So you have to find that balance. You have to find, and it's a part of who you are. You are that, but it's more to you than just that. Absolutely. You're the mother. You father, your mother, you're this, you're that. It's more to you to just Lady Ivy. It's more to you to just Minister Tiffany Hayes. It's so many parts of you, and you have to be able to balance that.
And not feel ashamed by doing it.
And not feel ashamed. Right. Not feel ashamed with doing that. I like motorcycles. I like to I love dancing. I love painting. I love to be creative. It's so many other sides to me than just Lady Ivy, setting the captives free. That's part of who I am, and I'm going to do that, but it's more to me than just that.
Absolutely.
So really finding a balance.
Yeah, I think that's important too. As believers, as people in women in ministry, one thing that that the Lord revealed to me, number one, is you can't be on all the time. And so although I love God, like I love God in my innermost being, but I was also reminded, that the Lord is just like, Tiffany, your husband needs his girlfriend too. Like he needs his wife. And so he does not just want you to be talking about testimonies and this is what the Lord revealed to me 24/7. Okay.
Right.
So emotional
balance.
Absolutely. We have to have that balance. And you touched on so many wonderful aspects in reference to the friends that you have around you. One thing about me is that I'm not too quick to call someone my friend. I believe that is a serious word. We toss around I love you here and there, everywhere today. Those are serious words. Now we could say we love you in the love of the Lord. Well, yes, but that's not you loving them. That's the Lord loving them. Okay. And so it is definitely important to have that balance in your life all the way around. And you touched on it in reference to you being in ministry and you getting away too. And then, I've heard T.D. Jakes share, and I may be butchering the way that he orchestrated this, but he was saying that he did not know that people could imprison him just to be Bishop T.D. Jakes. He said, well, I'm a business owner. I love business. You know what I mean? Like all of these different things. And one thing that's been on my heart that here recently is, as believers, we want a seat at the table. And sometimes to get a seat at the table, to have a voice of influence in different arenas that we wouldn't normally think about, we can't enter places speaking in tongues and laying on hands. Because sometimes we would a little off. Now you get what I'm saying, because we have to conduct ourselves in different arenas, and every arena does not stand for the same Ivy. Some arenas stand for Lady Ivy, some arenas stand for Ivy, some arenas stand for Mrs. Cuffee. You get what I'm saying? So those are different. Right. Again, going back to the balance, and unless we have the balance, again, we will be on all the time.
All the time. And I ain't on all the time.
Yeah.
I am not. Matter of fact, I'm like, Lord, keep me near the cross. I'm trying to, but I know I need him, and I need him for balance, like you said, you're not Minister Tiffany all the time. I'm not Lady Ivy Cuffee all the time. It's part of who I am, but that's not all of who we are.
Right.
And, like you said, finding that balance. And like you said, friendships. Don't take it lightly. Really don't take it lightly. But I don't know. There was a time where I had a friendship that almost cost my salvation.
Wow.
Because it was toxic.
Mm-hmm.
It was a toxic. They spoke truth,
Mm-hmm.
a form of truth, but was not the ultimate truth. So
Mm.
because of that, I found myself being drawn to this, and it wasn't. I was drawn to it because I did not guard my heart the way I should have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not guard it as I should have. I did not have on the eyes of Christ and the mind of Christ, dealing with certain things. That's something, it should have been a radar that went up.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm sorry, and that kind of piggyback to the emotional health. We're on the emotional health, but really dealing with friendship. I don't know. Friendship means a lot. It really does.
Your emotional health, especially if
you're
being vulnerable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Vulnerable, and you cannot be vulnerable with everybody.
Uh-huh.
You can't be vulnerable with everybody, and you can't like we were dealing with Jesus, with the three disciples that he allowed with him in Gethsemane when he was praying. It was only three that he actually allowed, and he was sweating blood. But everybody couldn't see that.
Yeah.
Everybody was not allowed to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in emotional health, and in balance, you have to have the right circle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to have the right circle, and your circle also deals a lot with you too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times what you surround yourself with is what you're going to ultimately become, or where you're going. You are who we say, birds of a feather flock together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a true statement. It really is. A bird of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, I'm just reminded how it's important to allow the Lord to pick our friends.
Absolutely.
And I don't know about anybody else, but I know that there were times where I'm like, Lord, I don't want to pick them. You pick them. And there have been many times where I'm happily married, but it's nothing like a good friend girl that can. People say girlfriends. I don't like that. I say my friend is a girl. It's nothing
right.
Like a friend girl that will understand you emotionally and can help each other along, pray for you. I was telling my husband earlier today, that person that would say, girl, I don't know what you're thinking right now, because even in my personality, I could be very abrupt if I'm not careful. And because I'm just straight to the point, no chaser, this is what it is. But I've learned that you can't be that way with everyone. And it took a friendship with a woman to tell me, hey, let's use some tact here. Let's, maybe soften the blow. And that allowed me to really, not only for the person that was listening, but for me to soften my heart, so that God can then pour his love in there. And then from there, it's just been cultivating this culture of love within me that other people get to experience as well. You know what I mean? But it took the friendship to say, the true friendship, to say, hey, something is off right here. I know you want to be more like Christ. Let me help you. Let me give you what I've learned thus far. And so that maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't, but at least let me tell you, because I believe a true friend will tell you when something is off. A true friend would tell you if you're just acting out of character, or if something is wrong, or whatever the case may be. And it goes back again to our emotional health and the balance, because in these friendships, we are being vulnerable. We're telling stuff that we probably would not tell anybody else. You know what I mean? So it has to be surrounded in the love of God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, Ivy, let me ask you this. To someone who is in ministry, that may be listening to this podcast, or someone who has allowed their work, let's just say a secular job, or not in the ministry, that allowed their work to consume them, how can they get back to that balance?
I can believe they can get back to that balance with being honest, truly honest. Because this is my philosophy. I don't think that you're truly happy just being one thing, or one, not say one thing, but one being consumed in one area, because I feel like it's so many parts of you that you just can't be consumed with one area, because something else is going to be lacking.
Right.
Something else is going to is not going to get its fulfillment or what it needs. So really just being honest, and then find what gives you joy, what gives you peace, what excites you, what ignites you. You know, you want to make sure that's included in your life, that you're cultivating, that you're investing time in it. You know, one of the things with me, and it could be different things with different people. I'm a creative person. I love to create. You know, I work good with my hands. So a lot of times I like to I'll do weddings on the side, or do baby showers or birthday parties or hair or whatever. That's my peace. That's my joy. That's what ignites me. You know, that's part of Ivy. And if I'm neglecting that, if I'm honest, and if I'm neglecting that, then I'm not going to be fully happy. I'm not going to fully have the total joy or the total ignitement or excitement, because I'm neglecting that area, because that is a part of who I am. So first of all, be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest. I believe that's how you can get back to balance. Be honest with yourself. Know where you're at, and then see where you want to be at. See where you want to go.
Yeah.
Right. See where you want to go. What is your place? What brings you joy? What is that talent, that gift? What is it that brings balance to your life? What do you feel like will bring you balance in your life? Okay. And then I believe, ask God for direction. I believe that God is wisdom. He's all wisdom. He's all knowing. Ask him. You know, he's a big part of your life. He knows you better than you know yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, so really seek him and say, Lord, you know, I need balance in my life. How can I get balance? Because he knows you better than you know yourself. You know, and I believe once you're honest, once you lay before the Lord, that what you need, or what will make you happy, or what brings joy and ignites you, will start to happen. It will just start to happen. And then prioritize. You have to prioritize. Faith without works is dead. You have the vision. Set it up to make sure you get to the place of balance. Oh, I want to go on that vacation. Set it up. You can't be talking about a month or 2 weeks that you want to go on vacation. No. If you know you want to go on vacation in summer, you need to start the summer before. If you know that certain, you know, you might not have the finances, most of the time we'll know when we might have an influx of money. You know, when we know certain things coming up. Plan ahead. I plan to be happy. I plan to have this balance in my life. I plan to get away with don't nobody know who I am. I'm gonna make it happen, and I'm gonna take the time to plan it out. Make sure I have the funds. Make sure I can do X, Y, and Z. And you know, be reasonable. You don't want to be practical in it. You don't want to just be trying to plan something that you know you can't afford. But take the initiative. Take the initiative for the balance in your life. Why? Because you're worth it. Because you are worth it. Because you're worth it. Take the time to do it. Whatever that may be. If you want to take up a trade, if you want to take up a hobby, whatever, plan it and make it happen. Because if we don't do it, we'll keep going in the same circle, and we will never get off the roller coaster. So, you know what I mean? So we have to find the balance. We have to, because we're worth it. Because we're worth it, and because Jesus rested on the seventh day. God rested on the seventh day. Amen. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm a jokester, y'all. I like to play. Anyway. Bless the Lord. Yes, because God rested on the seventh day. Okay.
Y'all, God rested on Jesus. God rested on the seventh day.
God rested on the seventh day.
Yes, he did.
Amen.
Yes, he did. Also, like going back to the fact that we are worth it, and we have to, you know, I think sometimes people look at us saying that we love ourselves in a negative way. Honestly, I used to look at it the same way, because it's like, no, I love God and I love these people. Well, no, God loves us so much. So that means that we are to love ourselves too. And that means that we have to know that we are worth whatever it is that's in front of us. That's good. Right. All right, girl.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for just coming back to the show to share heart health with us, emotional health with us, sharing some of your tidbits. Guys, I really, really, truly hope that you have taken notes, that if you need to rewind it and play it back, there have been several things that I rewinded and played back in my lifetime, and I'm sure I will continue to do it because we have to be reminded of these things. It's a study that says just 3 cycles of 21 days that makes it a habit. So 63 times makes it a habit. I'm not saying to rewind it and play it 63 times. I'm saying that you could, or you can just replay it as needed. But at any rate, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ivy, if someone needs to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
Oh, well, you can always reach me on Facebook, Ivy Cuffee, on Facebook. Also on my email account, ivycuffee@gmail.com. I'm also the first lady at Covenant Kingdom Fellowship, so you can always reach me there. But shoot me an email anytime, and I'll be glad to, just share whatever it is the Lord gives me to share with you. I'm a person where you can let your hair down around.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. I try to be that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
It's a safe place to come and talk,
Yeah.
and be open, and be honest. So God bless you, and definitely you can definitely get in contact with me through those avenues. Amen.
Absolutely. And guys, I hope you take advantage of that, and that you enjoy this podcast. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into Alabaster Box with Tiffany Hayes, where we are inspiring and enriching the thought patterns of the believer. Again, thank you again. Have a good day.